Yesterday, the High Court ruled the Prime Minister needs parliamentary approval before triggering Brexit. The government says it will appeal that decision at the Supreme Court. But what impact might this have on Britain's exit from the EU?
We're going to discuss this. Hopefully we'll speak to the former Deputy Prime Minister and Liberal Democrat spokesman on Brexit, Nick Clegg. We also have the Conservative MP Dominic Raab, who sits on the committee on exiting the European Union and campaigned for Brexit, who's in Westminster for us this morning. Good morning. Thanks very much for joining us. For anyone who isn't clear, what do you make of this latest ruling?
Well, I think it's a bad day for democracy, and I hope the Supreme Court overturns the ruling. Look, there's two different things here. Everyone wants the scrutiny. As you mentioned, I'm sitting on Brexit Select Committee, the parliamentary committee that will look at every inch of the Brexit negotiations. Yesterday, Parliament debated Brexit and financial services. Monday, we'll debate Brexit and protecting workers' rights. That's a given. What this ruling forces, if it's not overturned, is not just elected MPs, but in the House of Lords, the unelected House of Lords behind me, both houses to pass legislation in order for the government just to begin negotiations. And that means the Die Hard Remain campaigners, people like Nick Clegg and the Lib Dems in both the Commons and the Lords, can table a Gatling gun of amendments to try and frustrate the verdict of the referendum. And I don't think that helps the government, and I don't think it's what the British people want to see.
Are you not being rather disrespectful to your fellow MPs? I'm looking at a commentary that's been written by you in the Daily Mail today, and you've said that these die-hard Remainers, a phrase you've just used, brandishing the banner of democracy, are wolves in sheep's clothing. They're sticking up two fingers at the 33 million Britons, whichever way they voted, who participated in the referendum. If these discussions are going on, are you simply saying that these MPs are not going to represent their constituents?
What I'm saying is that there is a core group of people who've just not made their peace with the outcome in the referendum, the result in the referendum. And let's remember, that was a 72% public turnout. 33 million people participated in it. And if you look at all the polling, it shows you the public want to see us get on and deliver this. And rather than just a yes-no single vote in the House of Commons, which we could have on Monday, this requirement of legislation could delay and even frustrate the whole process of Brexit. And I think what the British people and what the economy needs to see is certainty. I think we need a strong united front as we try and deliver Brexit, and this only makes that harder, not easier. And the question really for people like Nick Clegg and the other die-hard Remainers who have not made their peace with the verdict of the British people is, what would it take for you to vote through that Article 50 legislation? And you won't get a straight answer from it. And that shows you that far from being campaigners for democracy, they're wolves in sheep's clothing trying to frustrate the verdict in this unprecedented referendum, which is the biggest democratic mandate ever seen, certainly in my lifetime.
So let's get a straight answer from you then, because obviously you're a fan of straight talking, as you've implied. How many MPs have told you that if a vote were to go through Parliament, they would vote against triggering Article 50?
Well, I've done debates all day yesterday on media interviews, and you can't get a straight answer from them. But what they are suggesting is that they'll need to see the right conditions, and they'll therefore table amendments in order to give the green light. And I think that most people, whether they voted Leave or Remain in the country at large, now want to see a united front amongst politicians so we get the best deal for Britain. And that's why I think this process and some of the parlour games from people like Nick Clegg and others are going to make that tougher to achieve. And I think ultimately it won't stop Brexit, and I think those really trying to hold up the will of the British people will be punished if in the worst case scenario we have to have a general election.
I'm sorry, has anyone told you they wouldn't vote for triggering Article 50 if this were to go through Parliament?
Well, so for example, on the BBC Daily Politics show, when Stephen Kinnock, the Labour MP, was asked, he gave three different answers, but he made it quite clear that he would be in the market for conditions to be laid down on the government before he even allowed us to start the negotiations. Now, I think there is almost inevitably going to be a vote on the final package of the negotiations, and that is absolutely right. But why would anyone want to scupper, frustrate, hold back the government from just beginning those negotiations? That's not giving effect to democracy, it's frustrating it.
Dominic Raab, many thanks for your time this morning.